Hi, kids.
Hi.
It is once again time for Tory Finds the Tardis. I'm one of the people, Josh, and I'm joined here, as always, by the Tory in the title.
Yes, hi. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good, Tory. How are you?
I'm I'm okay. I'm good. Yep. Today was a pretty good day.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I just had to move you over to the camera screen, so it looks like I'm sort of talking to you.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, yeah,
I
look
do
at him.
that. I do that. If it doesn't pick up the right camera, it goes over to my laptop. It has like a default, and I don't like that.
Well, here we are,
Here we are.
episode 2
Yep.
of Doctor Who. Now, before we before we really get into it, let's revisit episode 1 real quick.
Yep.
Rose, because that's of course the episode that introduces you to the Doctor and your first companion, Rose Tyler.
Right.
So, what are you thinking? How are you feeling as you're gearing up to watch this episode? Is there anticipations? Is there excitement?
There's excitement. There is whimsy. I think that there is a lot of fun in this world, and I think Rose is a good companion. She matches a little bit of his energy, but has her own like calming effect. I
Mhm.
think you know a little bit. I mean, I would say she's kind of a spaz herself, but a couple situations she was a little spazzy, but it's okay.
That's one of the things that I'm taking away new things as I
Yeah.
always do every time I watch, especially now that I'm 40. I'm coming at things from a different perspective than even the last time that I
Yeah.
watched the series. And yeah, you're right. It's You look at Rose and you're like, oh, so young,
Yeah.
and this
Y-
was 17 years ago.
I know. Oh my god. And I'm 42 and I'm 40 also. I'm 40 also. And I have to differentiate. And I think that whenever you get to be our age, things that you think that didn't happen that long ago happened a lot longer than it did. So like yesterday the album Dirt came out, but really it's been 25 years.
I I was telling you before the show last night. I took my 13-year-old to her first concert, and it was less than Jake.
Yeah.
And while they were on stage, they mentioned we've been doing this for 30 years. I'm like, wait, that can't be right.
Oh no.
When did that happen?
It always it sneaks up on you. That's what happens.
Yeah, especially, and it it's kind of a hits you in two ways, really. Going to a show like that and realizing that half the people there are your age with their kids, and you're like, yeah, we still got it.
Yeah,
We
we're
go,
still cool.
we
Yeah.
still go to shows,
Yeah.
and then
Rock on.
you realize, but now we're the old people in the room.
Yes. So my oldest just turned 21 on the 12th. Okay. So he is my dearest, my firstborn. And then I also have my youngest too. And my youngest is 9 years old. So I go from being the youngest parent to being like the oldest parent in this like little time period. And it reminds me of time traveling a little bit.
Way to bring it all together, Tori.
Yes. Was
Well,
thinking.
then how about we jump right into it? This episode is The End of the World, and the synopsis reads as such. The Ninth Doctor takes his companion Rose Tyler to the year 5 billion to see the sun expand and destroy the Earth. The observation deck space station Platform 1. Platform 1 is holding an event with the richest beings of the time observing the Earth's destruction. But mysterious metal spiders gifted by the adherents of the repeated meme to the other guest are secretly infiltrating and sabotaging the station. This episode was written by Russell T Davies and directed by Euros Lynn, and it is the first episode in the new series where, you know, one, there's time travel, and
Yeah.
two, they're going to the future.
Yes.
And not just
Yes.
the future, but like the future, like the future. Back to the Future Part 2 went to the future, and now that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're gonna push way past then. You know, when the Earth is gonna die, that's where we're going.
Oh
But
yeah, I know. I know. Like, couldn't we have thought of a closer destination, guys?
but the cell reception is apparently much better in 2005. Anyway, um, would you like to get into the nitty gritty of the episode with our plot?
Yeah. So, one of the things about this show that I like is the cheesiness of it. So, like, there's good special effects and there's bad special effects. And I think that the good special effects are on point this episode, particularly.
Yeah, especially with some of the character designs. Um,
Yes.
so, as we read through the plot, how about you stop me whenever you feel like, you want to say, like last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Go
We're
ahead.
old hats at this now.
Yeah.
2 episodes in, we're veterans. We got it.
Yeah, we got this. Okay.
All right, so it picks up pretty much immediately where we left off in the first episode, where the Doctor and Rose are in the Tardis, and it's time to start their adventure together. So the
Mhm.
Doctor asks Rose where she would like to go on her first trip. By the way, um, I'm reading the plot straight from TARDIS.fandom.com, the Doctor Who wiki, and so if you want to, you know, read along over there in the chats, or if you have any comments while we're doing this, by all means, speak up. So the Doctor's asking Rose, where do you want to go on your first trip? And she asks to go 100 years into the future. But when they arrive, because they go there. And the Doctor says, no, the 22nd century is boring, and, just a little of editorial here. Thank goodness for that, because the 21st century is nuts. They travel again, this time to the year 12,005, going a full 10,000 years into the future, the time of the new Roman Empire, as the Doctor puts it. Again, they move on without leaving the TARDIS, as Rose cannot believe his explanation. So here we are, 2 stops. They stay inside the TARDIS for each of these stops, and yet do, I think, a pretty amazing job at, kind of explaining what's going on, that the Doctor is experienced. He knows what's going on beyond those doors.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I think you wanted to tell Rose I told you so a little bit. Like, I don't know, like, because she was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna go on an adventure with you," and there she is taking his hand. Like, I don't know. I feel like he knew all along that that was gonna happen, and Rose is gonna come with him.
I mean, considering, he's been everywhere, done everything, almost literally. Can you
Uh,
imagine he knows at some point, maybe?
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. I mean, If you've done everything and lived everywhere and known everything, then I guess
That's
algorithms don't work as well on you.
so that's going to be a constant, question as the series rolls on. How much does the Doctor know beforehand?
Yeah.
How much does he know about his own future? And sometimes it's a lot, sometimes that's a little, but sometimes it's not the point. Like right now, finally, to impress his new companion, the Doctor takes Rose to a space station orbiting Earth 5 billion years in the future. As they watch in amazement, the sun expands partially. Welcome to the end of the world, the Doctor tells Rose as she looks on forlornly. What'd you think of their destination?
I was, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Rebel One, like, like the doom of it. You knew that you're about to incinerate. I don't know. It wasn't that scary though. Like, I think it could have been scarier.
I think just from a like mental space, you're a companion, you're on your first time traveling adventure, and the first place you stop is you're on a platform watching your home planet
Yeah,
about to get vaporized.
yeah, that
That
really blows. Yeah.
I couldn't
Mm-mm.
imagine recovering from that. But Rose is Rose.
Yes. Rose is rose. That's funny though. That's funny that I feel like that's going to be a very common theme. Like, oh, rose is rose. We all. Hmm.
Spoilers.
Uh-oh. Did I happen upon something right now? Okay.
I'll
Well.
never tell.
That's
The
it.
okay,
That's
the
good.
doctor tells Rose that Earth has long been empty of any kind of life because that's the first thing she asked. What about all the people? And he's like, they're gone. Mankind left it long ago, and the planet was taken over by the National Trust. Like what would you say? I don't even know what to compare it to.
I don't know either. That's hard.
They've used gravity satellites to hold the effects of the sun back, but the money has run out. That's something we know about.
Oh, okay. So the money just runs out. Like the people that make the money are like, oh, yeah, you guys tapped us out.
It's like I guess it was funded through this collective, and the collective was like, we can spend our money on better things than you know preserving this dead planet.
Okay. Well, how did life become? What did it evolve to at that point? Were we all just like sitting in the sun all the time and it was horrible, or was it like,
Now everyone left the planet. Humanity,
oh,
they traveled among the stars, and we're going to meet somebody very soon that kind of talks about that a bit. Earth will be swallowed up by the sun at last. The rich and the powerful of the universe will witness the end of the world, which will occur in about half an hour. The doctor tells Rose that he has no intention of saving the planet. The station has automated systems and is staffed by blue skinned humanoids. So yeah, her automatic thought is, oh, this guy that I'm with, that's what he does. He comes in at the last second and he saves the day. So he's going to save the Earth. And he says, nope, it's run its course. The Earth is going bye. That essentially.
yep. I think that I don't know what I would say to that. So like if I was in that situation, what would you say? Like, oh, the earth is ending. What? Like you should wrap your head around that.
The place that I'm standing right now, just
It's gonna be gone. Yeah. Poof. Who cares about about what you're wearing or if you had a bad day because poof, you're gonna be gone. Your bad day is about to get worse. Oh my gosh. And the the amount of wisdom, I guess, would be the best term for his advice about it all. It's like, I've been through this.
Oh yes, yes. If there's anybody that knows how to say goodbye, okay, not really say goodbye, but if there's anybody that knows how to feel a goodbye, it's probably
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah.
well on encountering the blue-skinned steward who manages platform one. The doctor persuades him that he and Rose are invited guests by using a piece of psychic paper that makes people see what the doctor wants. Psychic paper. Just hold it up. This is who I am, and the person goes, yes, it is. Right this way, because it makes the paper presents to them who they think is the proper, what the proper identification is. So psychic paper, the doctor has a whole bunch of tricks up his sleeve, and in his pockets. That's one of them.
Hmm.
The other guests arrive, okay, including the diminutive Mox of Balhoun, the face of Bo, living humanoid trees from the forest of Cheem,
Hmm.
whose ancestors originated on Earth, and finally, no, not finally, but and from Financial Family 7, a group of hooded aliens known as the adherents of the repeated meme. And
Ah,
Rose,
meme. Like,
yes,
really? Like, okay. All right, go ahead.
and then that some would say that name's actually kind of important, but it's not something we need to talk about now. Rose
Oh,
watches in horrified fascination as the last living human arrives on Earth, the Lady Cassandra O'Brien, who at this point is just a piece of stretched out skin with eyes and a mouth, mounted on a frame and connected to
yeah.
a brain jar.
Yeah, yeah.
Moisturize me.
Boy, it reminds me, put the lotion on its skin, like, okay, Buffalo Bill. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's what it boils down to.
yeah. Ugh. Yeah, and who, like, I'm glad she, oh, I don't want to spoil anything, but anyway.
Well, as you just mentioned, the skin needs to be like constantly sprayed, like it was a
Yeah.
bad cat, and the guests exchange gifts. Jib, the Forest of Keem, gives the doctor a cutting taken from her grandfather, and the doctor, seemingly unprepared for this exchange, goes, "I give you air for my lungs,"
I know, that's so funny.
and the Mox gives the gift of bodily salivas, which sprays all over Rose, and the doctor seems to get a kick out of that, and he reciprocates his gift. And the adherents of the repeated meme hand out gifts of peace in the form of metal spheres. Even gives the steward one, even though he's like, I mean, I work here, bro. why, why do I need a gift? Sure, if you insist, I guess. And he's just trying to do his, trying to do his job. So all of these guests come in, and we talked about the makeup and special effects before. Quick impressions on the guests.
Well, the trees kind of reminded me a little bit of Lord of the Rings, a little bit like the trees from the Two Towers.
I fully expect a comment from Jen if she's watching.
I know, where are you, Jen? Um, it kind of also reminded me a little bit. It doesn't make any sense to anybody else, probably, but the dinner from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like everything's like a little bit weird and creepy. I thought that it was kind of weird and creepy. I don't know.
Well, Cassandra gives her own gifts: the last ostrich egg and an iPod from ancient Earth. Rose is a bit overwhelmed when the juke because it's a jukebox. When the jukebox plays, classical music, and what pops up? Tainted Love,
It's a great song.
and it's excuse me, it's the first, sort of it's hard to even say contemporary song, since it's, well, at that point it was maybe only 20 years old, but now it's we don't need to talk about that anyway.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
The doctor receives a call about the TARDIS parking place and is given a ticket telling him where it is being moved. Elsewhere, Rose says, just hold there real quick. You notice how just nobody's even really bothered by the TARDIS. None of these aliens. There's like, oh, we
Right.
moved your ship,
Right.
and here's your parking slip.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, cool. Like they were valet. Well, they were valet essentially.
Yeah. Yep. I like the like Rick ship in Rick and Morty, you know. It's just I don't know, it's its own entity. It talks and stuff. The TARDIS is kind of the same way, except that it doesn't actually talk itself, but has its own entity, I think.
Hmm. Interesting. Um. hmm. Elsewhere, Rose has a brief conversation with a station plumber who needs permission to speak
Yes.
because of her station, her job, and Rafalo, who is investigating a blockage. Rose is. It says here Rose is comforted by the familiarity of Rafalo's matter of fact working class manner, um, and that's identifiable because Rose is also a working class, kind of person, retail, London. She understands, you know, working for people sucks,
Yeah, it does.
especially in an environment where you have to interact with, customers sometimes. But because of the familiarity with this, and because Rose and to the doctor aren't the exuberantly wealthy class that has boarded the ship, Rose found someone from a kindred background, even if she is from Crispalian, which is part of the Jagged Brocade and affiliated to the Scarlet Junction in Complex 56, which makes Rose, you know, she kind of suddenly starts grasping how far away from home she is, not distance wise, but you know, time wise.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep.
And she thinks, I just jumped in a blue box with a guy that I don't know, and here we are, 5 billion years in the future.
Yeah. Why did I decide to do this? This is not a good look on me. Yeah. Those would all be questions going through my mind if I were her. Although the spontaneity of her personality, maybe she's like, what's next? Maybe she's like a dog. What's next? Oh my goodness.
Maybe. It did seem in the first episode at the end there, she was just looking for a reason to be able to go. It was Mickey that was like, don't go, and she's like, I got responsibilities and my mom and this and that.
Yeah, it wasn't like I love my boyfriend. There was never that.
As soon as the doctor was like, oh, did I mention it was a time machine? She was gone.
Yes. The time machine sold her.
It changed everything.
She must have grown up with a hot tub time machine or something. I don't know.
Well, don't want to skip ahead here because after Rose leaves, those pesky little Spidey thingies take Ruffalo, and well, the camera pans away. We assume that it did bad things.
Yeah. Yeah. So those little those little things they remind me of the replicators on Stargate SG-1.
Okay.
So they're like little nanobites, nanobots. I don't know. Didn't impress me.
No,
No.
you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Robot
Say,
spiders. Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on.
It's like, what was this, produced by John Peters?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, the doctor finds Rose. When she asks where he's from, he brushes her off. He brushes off her questions. When the doctor alters Rose's mobile phone so she can talk to her mother in the past, another fact sinks in. She's dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this tiny itty bitty spoiler. The doctor does. Um, hmm, I think, in my opinion, voids a lot of cell phone warranties for his companions.
I think they'll always be on their credit reports. It's just gonna be one of those things. They just have to admit that they can never pay off.
That's some definite roaming charges.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's 2005, so that's still a thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. Yep. Yep.
The doctor jokes that if Rose thought the telephone call was amazing, she should see the bill. Suddenly, a tremor shakes the station, and the doctor gleefully observed that was not supposed to happen. The steward investigating the cause of the tremor is killed when a spider lowers the sun filter in his room, exposing him to the direct heat of the sun's rays. Let's well, I guess we don't really need to stop and let Rose sinking in of everybody she's known and loved has been dead for billions of years. You know that's quite the realization, but of course it happens. How about instead we talk about how as soon as things go wrong, the doctor's like, "Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen."
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be
Yeah.
interesting after all.
I thought that he had this under control. He's done this before, but blah blah blah. Now things go right. He's like, oh well, his attitude about things going awry is a little. I don't know how to say it. I don't mind it, but it's a little lackadaisical. Like it's a little goofy.
No, we're coming in at a point in time where the doc does seem to have this thirst for fixing things,
Yes. Mhm.
and he's there. It seems up to this point the most interesting thing for him on this station is, oh, I met some interesting creatures, and everything else is just kind of, I'm here for Rose. She show her something interesting. For me, it's boring, but for her, it's probably blowing her mind. But
Right.
Rose is more like, huh, everybody's dead. That
Right.
sucks.
Yeah, she's hung up on that. Yeah, she's not even looking to see how cool billions of years look.
So now when the station shakes, the doctor's like, oh, now this interests me.
And you're like, "Oh gosh." Like, what now? If this interests you, what is it?
Well, the doctor starts to look into the tremor, and Jabe offers to show him where the maintenance quarters are. While Rose goes to speak to Cassandra, Rose finds Cassandra has had 708 cosmetic operations and considers herself the last, quote, pure human. The others who left intermingled with other species, and she considers them all mongrels. Sounds like she's from the South. Anyway,
I knew you were about to say something like that. Go ahead.
her next operation to bleach her blood is next week. Disgusted that humanity has come to this, Rose insults Cassandra and storms off, only to be met by the adherents, and the leader pistol whips her with his gauntlet, knocking her unconscious.
Good for him.
Good for him. Pistol whipping Rose
Wow. Yep. Good for him.
because she was so rude to her similar species.
Sometimes you just gotta backhand a bitch, Like, I mean, I'm just saying. This goes for men and women. There's no discrimination. Some people just need backhanded.
No comment.
Ha!
In the corridors, Jabe quietly tells the doctor that she scanned him earlier because she did. Because she was like, where is he from? And was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it told her. And she said she sympathizes with him, and the doctor is briefly moved to tears. They continued to the bowels of the station. That's where the poop is, where they find one of the spiders. Jabe captures it with a long vine-like appendage. As the station system continues to fail, and as a traditional ballad, here's the second incorporation of music. The traditional ballad is "Toxic" by Britney
Yeah.
Spears.
I'm a slave for you. Go ahead.
Rose wakes up and realizes that she is in a room with a lowering sun filter. The doctor hears her cries for help and raises the filter, but Rose is still locked in. Returning to the main hall, he releases the spider to seek out its master. It first scurries over to Cassandra and then veers towards adherents of the repeated meme. The doctor says a meme is just an idea that reveals that the adherents are robots as they collapse to the floor.
See?
Yeah.
It explains a lot. The
naming, quite clever.
Yeah.
Huh?
It is clever.
He then sends the spider out to find out who is controlling them, and it goes directly to Cassandra.
Oh, come on. Who didn't expect that, though? That was a bad Scooby-Doo ending.
She's just awful.
She is awful.
The old racist did it. Yeah, kind of figured.
Yeah. Oh, you spoily kids.
Well, Cassandra has her attendants hold the others at bay, saying the moisturizer guns can also shoot acid.
Folic acid?
Her operations cost a fortune, and she was hoping to create a hostage situation while pretending to be one of the victims herself and later seek compensation. Now she will just let everyone burn while the shares in the guest rival companies Cassandra's holds will triple in price. Cassandra orders the spiders to shut off the force field protecting the station and then uses the teleportation device to transport herself and her attendants away. So, yeah, it was an insurance scam. It was a stock scam. It was all for the money. Gee, human greedy.
Yeah. Wow, we haven't seen this before. That's what I was saying. Kind of like the whole episode had this feel to it. Like, it was like a Danielle Steele novel in the 90s,
But we do have a ticking clock because the station's about to go under.
Yeah.
And with only minutes left until the sun incinerates Earth and the station, the doctor and Jabe rush back to the air-conditioned chamber. The restore switch for the computer systems is at the end of a platform blocked by giant rotating fans. The doctor protests the rising heat will burn their wooden shade, but she insists on staying to hold down the switch that slows the fans. The doctor makes it nearly to the end before Jabe catches the fire and burns. He closes his eyes and concentrates, making it past the last fan and throwing the reset switch. The force fields come up around the station just as the Earth explodes into cinders. The station's systems start to self repair. The Doctor has saved the station, and only one, well, if you don't count the staff, uh, you probably should. So it's three. Minimal body count.
Hmm.
Were you expecting good people to die?
Huh? You always expect good people to die. Like, it's the yang into the death yang.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's
you
fair.
know. Um, I don't know what you're asking, I guess.
Well, when in the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
with the Doctor, with the Rose, with the Rose, with the Doctor,
The
Rose, and
rose.
Mickey, everybody that died,
Mm-hmm.
like pretty much did so off camera.
Ah, yeah.
But
Okay.
as far as good guys go, and this they show one of the people that's um one of the creatures that not only embraced, well, embraced isn't the right word, but accepted and felt compassion for the Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
just burn.
That was a little savage, wasn't it? Like, I think it could have ended better than that, but um, I just want to say that this is poor production quality. Like, that's what it is. In my opinion, like it could have ended a lot better if if it was if the production value went up a little bit.
Well, we haven't reached the end yet.
Yeah, I know. But see, this is what surprises me about this whole thing is they have a lot of money. Doctor Who is not a new thing. They have millions of fans all over the world. They're a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar corporation. You would think that the production value would be of that of a Steven Spielberg film at this point. Come on, BBC. Yeah, Jen, it was a good episode, but
You got to remember, it's the second episode of a new series based on a show that was canceled 16 years prior.
okay.
So it's definitely not. It wasn't at the levels that it is now, especially now that they have that Disney Plus money coming in
Oh yeah.
for the streaming rights. So this is very much a bare bones, you know, kind of season doing what they can. But as the interest builds, as the fan base built, um, you'll definitely notice more money get pumped into it.
Okay, good. I just don't want to feel it cheesy. That's all. I don't want the cheese to be.
Oh, it's definitely going to have some fine layers of cheese.
Okay. All right. Well, at least I'm aware of that now. Gotcha.
Well, several of the guests are now dead, and
You don't say. You don't say. Go ahead.
incinerated as the sun's rays burst through cracks in the windows. That's the thing. Usually, when you have a show about a hero,
Hmm.
the hero not only saves the day, but everybody walks out alive except the bad guy.
Right.
They're casualties.
There are casualties, and every superhero type situation, there are a lot of casualties. These cities are not built by no one. People live there, you
Hmm.
know? I think that's what people have to remember. Is good people have to die every day.
Yeah, keep that in mind as we go on.
Okay.
Um, the Doctor finds Cassandra's teleportation feed inside the ostrich egg and reverses it to bring her back because she's all like, "And you should have seen the look on their faces. That was more. Wait, what?" So she starts taunting the doctor, saying that he cannot do anything about her. However, the doctor calmly notes he has transported Cassandra back without her moisturizing attendants. In the heat, she begins to dry out. Cassandra begs for mercy, and Rose asks the doctor to help her. But the doctor coldly says that everything has its time and everything dies. Cassandra's skin stretches and tears, her innards exploding, leaving only her brain tank an empty frame. It reminds me of let's see, Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Um, because Batman, according to some, doesn't kill.
Right.
It's like, what do you say? I may not kill you, but it doesn't mean I have to save you.
Right.
But the doctor just, flat out says, you're going to die. I could help you, but I'm not. So this kind of tells you the doctor is definitely not one of those standard white hats. People that he's supposed to save die, and if given an opportunity, he has no qualms letting, I guess, essentially one of his enemies die.
Well, I think if you have gone through everything that he has gone through in his life, in his 900 years of living, you would think that he would have anticipated this. I don't know. Like, he would have anticipated this a little bit. Yeah.
Jen says this is the episode that really clued a brand new viewership of Doctor Who into the idea of time travel. It was a big risk because the stakes often hinge on the TARDIS being able to travel in time. And in response to what we're talking about with Cassandra, Doctor Who is often nihilistic, often to the point of absolute frustration. Because the Doctor is, as you see in this episode, and like we keep saying, he's a guy that's seen so much that he already understands. And Rose kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Everything is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
And, whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came time to not help Cassandra, save her skin, so to speak,
Literally.
he said, everything has its time and everything dies.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to let the casualties happen. You
Mm-hmm.
have to let you kind of have to let certain puppies die. You kind of have to look your nose away when there's a fish being flushed down the toilets too early in life, like you know, like there are you know putting any kind of dog down or any kind of cat down, having that ultimate power. It's kind of the same thing, right? Uh,
Well, Rose is sad that in all the danger Earth's passing was not actually seen by
mm,
anyone. It just went unobserved. The doctor takes her back to the present in the TARDIS, telling her that people think things will last forever, but they don't. And that's when we finally get a little bit of background. Especially if you're new to the series, where he says his home planet was burned like the Earth, but in a war.
hmm.
He is the last survivor of the Time Lords, and Rose says he still has her, and he smiles as she offers to buy him some chips, and he's like, "No money," and they only have 5 billion years before the shops close. So that was episode number 2, the end of the world. What are your just general overall thoughts and impressions of where it went from the first episode?
I think it went in a great little vein. I think it was a good starting episode. It gave enough meat and bones for people to follow, which, for people like me is a nice thing because, I don't know what's going on. So they definitely make it user friendly, and I like that. Does
So,
that user friendly? Yeah.
I guess the thing to ask is, are you still on board?
I am still on board. Yep. I'm ready to go on the next adventure. Yeah.
Well, the next adventure is The Unquiet Dead,
Ooh, okay.
Series 1, Episode 3. It has, well, we really won't go into it, but I think it's one, considering your background, one you'll find is more up your alley than The End of the World was.
Okay.
And you
All
might
right.
see a recognizable name or two in, uh, in the episode.
All right. That sounds great.
So in the meantime, that Tory, you found
Yeah.
the end of the world, but how can the people find you out in the world?
Okay. So you can find me on my Facebook page or my YouTube page, and that's at Tory Rush, ToryRush. You can find me on my show, The Infectious Geek, which is every Friday night. I'm going to be broadcasting it to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel up and running a little bit more. And you can also get me on every Thursday night on TV dinners with Jen and you and Kente and Betty. And I'm excited about this week's episode. She always gets me with the good questions. So Jen does. So I'm excited about this week's coming up episode. I don't know what it is, honestly, but it's going to be great regardless. Do you know what it is?
It is, I believe, a state of television.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, it'll be great. And then me and you have this going on, and then Kinte and I are also going to start up a new one where we talk about serial killers. So that should be fun. That should be fun too. How can people get you on social media?
Well, the best and easiest thing to do is go to wadcomedia.com. It's the website with all the links. You can find the Facebook pages, Twitch, YouTube, merchandise, Patreon, all of that jazz. It's available there every Wednesday night, like you said. Well, no, you didn't mention this part. I'm going to mention this part. Every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. It is 10 to 1. That's right. It is a list show all about movies. Jen and I, we come up with these lists, ideas, and trying to make them kind of a little arbitrary,
Sorry.
just obscure things about movies. And we make a list of movies to go along with it. This week, it is war movies. Nay, no,
Oh,
too easy. Too easy. This week, it is pre 20th century war movies. So the war that takes place has to be pre 20th century. Otherwise, it would just be, oh, here's a Vietnam movie. Here's a World War II movie. Here's a World
yeah,
War II movie. Here's a World War II movie. Here's a World War One movie. And here's a World War II. You could just fill it with 20th century wars and it would be super easy. So, no, pre 20th century war movies on 10 to 1 Thursdays. Like you said, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, same channel, Wadco Media. You will see TV dinners, and it will be kind of a state of TV, giving updates and whatever's kind of floating through people's heads as everyone discusses what is TV.
yep.
So Friday. Yeah, we're on Friday. It's the Wadcast. We were very, very glad to have a special guest last week when we were joined by the producer and actor and writer, Dave Uchansky.
Okay.
And this week at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, I have no idea because it's not 5 minutes before showtime, which is usually when we come up with the ideas, unless we have a guest, and then we'll promote it as such. But that's me. That's me in a nutshell, and that's Wadco Media. And I
Yay.
I do want to, gosh, I got this started promoting this game show, and they were going to be doing. Can't wait to get it started. Just got to figure out what day that's going to be on. So be on the lookout for that on the socials. So you'll know when we get this game show running.
Yep.
Any final thoughts? Any final words, Tori?
No, I'm excited about this upcoming week. I'm excited about the next Doctor Who episode, so I might watch a couple of them a few times to make sure I know what I'm to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I don't want to. I hate coming into these things and not knowing what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, it'll be fun. This is going to be fun.
I think we're in for a wild ride.
Yep, me
So
too.
until next time, boys and girls, I'm not good at